So what is Zen Buddhism? At first, I want to talk about some technicalities. And they are about the etymology of the word Zen. Because Zen comes from the Chinese Chan, and the Chinese Chan comes from the Sanskrit dhyana. And dhyana means meditation. So Chan-Buddhism, as it's called in China, or Zen Buddhism, as it's more renowned around the world as Zen, or it's primarily renowned around the world as Zen, basically means meditation Buddhism. So I think that's very important to get this origin. And in that sense, it comes from India and then traveled to China, then traveled to Japan, and now kind of travels all around the world. And what is Zen? You might call it a religion, or simply a philosophy, or an anti-philosophy, because Zen doesn't really appreciate too much philosophizing. And why you might call it a religion, or why one might call it a religion, is because, in my opinion, and in the opinion of Zen, what Zen really means about Zen, or what Zen thinks about Zen, is that Zen is basically the essence of religion, or of all religions, you might say. Not that Zen is something special that's not found in other religions, but in most religions you find theologies, so the philosophies of these religions, the dogmas, the symbols, and all of the stuff of different religions, they all have different interpretations of heaven, of hell, and basically all religions have their kind of unique features, their unique way of explaining something. And Zen comes into play in all of these religions with saying, let's not focus on theologies, philosophies. Let us not focus too much on our mind, on our interpretations, on concepts, but let's focus on the here and now. Let's focus on direct experience, direct insight. And how Zen wants to achieve this, achieve. It's not really like you gain anything in Zen, it's more like you lose things in Zen. You lose your concepts, ideas, your interpretations of the world. And how Zen wants to achieve that is by meditation, mostly. Like I said, it's basically meditation Buddhism. And it's the same in normal Buddhism, like not Zen Buddhism, but normal Buddhism. Buddhism, there Also a lot of words, basically, a lot of explanations about the small vehicle and the big vehicle. You can look that up. I'm not going too much into it right now. But they're noble truths, they're precepts, and this and that. And Zen also doesn't say that they are all useless or that's all not valuable in a sense. But Zen does say that they are not the essential, the really important thing what you want to focus on. So there's also generally a lot of value put on meditation in normal Buddhism, but there are also way more theories that accompany, go along with meditation. So Zen wants to use meditation, the practice of meditation, to directly look into reality, to see God for how it is, for what it is, to see the suchness, the isness of things. And Zen also uses so-called koans, and they are either small texts or riddles or small conversations between a Zen student and a Zen master or anyone. And these koans are also used in Zen to kind of break your mind, to break your thinking. And there are all different kinds of koans, but koans basically always come back to the question, who am I? Or what is this? What is reality? And yeah, that's mostly just who am I? What am I? What's going on here? And you can ask yourself that question, and then you can come up with 1,000, 1,000,000 different answers. I am a guy born in Germany. I am a human being. I am beautiful. I am not worthy. I am a composition of atoms. Whatever. There are a lot of different answers you can give to this question. But what Zen wants you to understand is that all of these answers, they can't really give you anything, and they aren't the truth. Because if you think about it logically, then you can say, I'm a human being, I live on planet Earth. But the word human being and what a human being actually is like light years apart. Everyone has a different idea of what a human being is. Of course, there's the biological side, the physical side of a human being. But then you get to atoms, to particles, and then what is inside of those atoms, and then there are quarks, and then what's inside of those quarks, what are these quarks, and then they are just energy. So am I just energy? But then again, what is energy? So you can you can never fully find the truth by just using your mind, by just thinking. At least that's the position of Zen. So these koans are designed to help you, to make you aware, to leave you in a sense of wonder. When you think about it and you think about it and you think about it and you dismiss all the answers, then at some point, at least for me, I'm just sitting there, or I just used to sit there, or be there after I asked myself all these questions, or when I was really deep into philosophy and I asked myself all these existential questions. I was just sitting there and there was nothing I could grasp, there was nothing I could hold on. And that's also when I discovered Zen. And that's why Zen is there, to make you aware of the fact, or to give you this possibility to understand reality without using your mind, or to come in touch with reality without using your mind. And the goal also of Zen is to free you from thinking, to free you from your suffering, which is created by your thinking. Because we go through this world, through our everyday lives, and we have all this idea about people, about us, about nature, and we think that these ideas, that they are true, but they maybe have some truth or some aspects that we can use and work with, and they are not completely useless, but they are very far from reality if you look into it. For example, the stone. I found it like 2 weeks ago when I was outside on a walk with a friend, and I picked up the stone and I was sometimes consciously, but mostly unconsciously, just thinking, oh yeah, this is a stone. I know stones. I've seen a million stones in my life. I know what a stone is. But before I made this video right now, a few minutes ago, I was actually looking at the stone and thinking about if I could maybe integrate it into the video and use it to explain Zen. And then I looked at the stone and I noticed that like the stone's laying on my desk for a few days now, but I never really looked at it. It was like I was always acting like I knew the stone, so I didn't need to look at it. And then when I actually looked at it today, I suddenly saw how beautiful the stone is. Like I saw the stone basically for the first time because I was actually paying attention, or actually bringing my awareness to the stone. And then I was able to discover the different shades of the stone. I touched it to feel the texture, the temperature. And basically, for the first time, I was able to come into contact with the stone. And that's how we live our whole lives, and not just with the stone, but with other people, with trees, with all things that exist. And we never really let them express themselves. We never fully perceive how these things are, how we are, because we have also all these thoughts about ourselves, and then we get lost in these thoughts and we think that we know what's going on, but we never actually perceive our mind, our bodies. We never really look at what we are. And that creates a lot of suffering. So Zen is a way to come back to reality, or to be in contact with reality, and thus to be free of suffering, or even to be aware of our suffering and letting us see why we're suffering, and then giving us the ability to live in a way that we don't create more suffering for us and for other people. So practicing meditation, looking, by the way, you can also practice meditation with eyes open, but if we practice meditation, we practice compassion, because when we look at ourselves again and again and we realize how we are creating suffering in ourselves, we will also see how we create suffering for other people and how they create suffering for us. So with this intuition, with this wisdom, with this knowledge, we gain this ability to live a life in which we don't create more suffering, in which we can actually help other people to free them from their suffering, or at least not to increase their suffering, and not to be mad or mean to people who suffer, because we learn to understand why we are suffering, so we also learn to understand why other people are suffering. I think that's it for this video. If you're interested in Zen Buddhism, if you're interested in meditation, you can definitely check out some of the other videos I've created. I once even did a Sesshin. That's the Zen Buddhist term for an intense period of meditation. So I once meditated for 5 days a week. Like, I always practice in the morning and in the evening, like every day, but I did it once, even twice, but I made a video about the first time I did it, where I actually meditated for 8 hours a day, even more, like 9-10 hours, something like that. And if you are interested in that and the experiences I had and how that time, how this intensive period of meditation was for me, then I will link this video either somewhere here or in the video description. And yeah, you can also look at the other videos I made about meditation. But that's it for me. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up so I could grow this channel. Subscribe if you want to see more, and yeah. Take care.